Hi guys, Kim here. Welcome to Backyard Blooms. In today's video, we are going to do an October tour, and it is mid-October, and actually it is my daughter Jenna's birthday, and I thought you would like to sing with me a birthday song to Jenna. So here it goes. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday dear Jenna, happy birthday to you. I hope you have the happiest birthday today, Jenna. So this past weekend, I got to go to Gatlinburg and spend the weekend with my best friend, Dana. We've been friends since 8th grade, so I really enjoy our time together when we get to spend time with it. And we went to Gatlinburg, and they had like some kind of craft fair at their convention center. And I found this gorgeous piece of pottery that just showed off my blooms, just absolutely perfect. And I'll bring the container a little bit closer to you, but I told her I would give her a shout out in my videos, and her name is Pat and Maureen Sklos, and they live in Georgia, from Sklos Pottery. So I'll bring these blooms up a little bit closer to you and share them with you as well. So I hope you enjoy this video, and I hope it brings you lots of inspiration. Before I forget, I would like to ask you to please like, share, and subscribe. I'm at 87% and I was at 95%, so thank you so much. But there's still a lot of people out there that watch my videos that have not subscribed to me, and it just helps me with my YouTube logarithm. And even if you take this video and share it onto your Instagram and YouTube, that will help me grow tremendously. So enjoy this video. Good morning, everyone. This is my October tour. It is mid-October, and I wanted to give a big shout out to my husband. He pruned all these boxwoods for me yesterday. I had some overgrown shoots on my Oakland hollies back there, so he pruned all those up for me. Cut the grass. The grass is looking awesome this time of year. And then those Nellie Stevens right there, he pruned those up. I had some shoots that were overgrown on there, so he made those look like little topiaries, so they're really pretty. As far as the grass, this past October, I put down pre-emergent, which October 16th was the last deadline for me, so make sure you just kind of follow up when the next good pre-emergent time is for you. We put down the milky spores for those grubs because they turned into Japanese beetles. I did that in the fall. And then this is the time to put down stuff for your fall armyworms as well, and I put down the deicide. And as far as fertilizer, I think I'm done with my fertilizer. We've been putting down soil amendment month after month after month for the last 2 years, and I think I'm going to do that just one more year, and then I'll be done with my soil amendment. What it does is turn all the soil over so this grass has happy roots, and if you have happy roots, then you have a happy plant, whether it's grass or plants. So garden is looking really pretty this time of year. And as far as everything in the garden, I have not, usually I'll go through and like go ahead and deadhead everything, but I thought I would just save those and just tell you exactly what I still need to do in my garden as far as deadheading, whether it's roses or perennials or anything like that. Sasha's out here with me this morning. She's like looking around, she's like, what are you looking at? Who's behind me? Hi, Sasha. And also this is the Limelight Hydrangea garden, and I just wanted to show how it looks like with the sun just kind of beaming down on it this morning. It's just so pretty when the sun's beaming down when it's just coming up in the morning. So these are the David Austin roses. These are going to be a climbing rose that are going to be yellow, and I just did a video on how I planted those. And this is my arbor, and I'll have that link in the description as well. So I have 2 climbing roses that I just planted. And this one is the second one right there. And this is the Pilgrim David Austin Rose. Actually, right now is a great time to order your David Austin roses where they're coming in bare root. So if you order them now, they're not going to be in stock, but you order them now and they'll send them to you when it's time for planting. My Evergreen arborvitae shrubs look awesome. If you start seeing some dead in the middle, that's normal. Any conifer right now will drop its leaves in the middle of the winter. So you can see that mine are starting to turn just a little bit. But I noticed some of my trees on the other side are starting to turn. Do you see that yellowing right there? That's normal. So they're going to drop their leaves in the winter time in the middle. Now if it's on the edge, then that might be a different problem. So I do spray mine for spider mites at least twice a year. So remember that. I like to do mine in May and August. So you can see these limelight hydrangeas have some old blooms on them. That's what the old blooms look like right here. So you can see that if you don't like this look, then you can go ahead and deadhead these as well. Just take them off kind of like right here, about right there. You don't want to cut the whole entire, prune the whole entire shrub back just yet. I do that maybe, I'm going to say May is when I'm starting to do that, but May and April is when it's starting to get warm here in my zone, Charlotte, North Carolina, zone 8. So those buds are starting to swell on my limelights about right around that time. And you can see why I've already taken some of the blooms off. So you know, if you listen to me for a long period of time, that the deer came up and ate my new, not the blooms, but the new growth on these limelight hydrangeas. But however, I feel like they really, really did me a great favor because I am loving this look now. So now I'm thinking maybe I should take about half of these blooms off when they're starting to just appear in the springtime. This is what a new bloom would look like when it's just first starting to appear. This is what a new one would look like. And then these right here are the ones that bloomed later because the deer, of course, did a great pruning for me. And in order for these blooms to turn this color like I have right here, they need a cool night. So of course, these right here, when they bloomed, it was in June and July, and we didn't have cool nights because it's hot and humid here. But however, these right here had cool nights because it's starting to get in the 50s and 40s right now. So they're like starting to turn. And this would be a great time if you love this color right here to go ahead and cut some of these for your hydrangeas for your dried hydrangeas to save inside. But they're just, I love the color. It's so, so pretty. And of course, these are some of the newer blooms, even newer right here. So this is half of the garden. I'm right here at my little gem, Magnolia, right there. If you guys have not read the book Under the Magnolias, that's a good book to read. We just read that for our book club. I felt like I could relate to that because I don't know if you knew, I grew up in Kentucky and I grew up on a tobacco farm. So yes, I know everything about growing tobacco. So I can relate myself to that book. And then I have some of the jazzberry super petunias that are right there. Those came back from last year. And the more purple ones right here are the hardy geraniums. I really, really like the hardy geraniums. And they kind of surprised me because they've actually peeked their way all the way up into these limelight hydrangeas too. So I like layers of 3. Of course, I have ground cover. The middle layer is my limelights, and the third layer is the Evergreen arborvitaes. And that's going to the side of the house. And there's my Miss Sasha girl, so pretty already. And this is the second part of the garden. It's separated by Miss Grace from Unique Stone right there. And there is my magnolia tree. This garden is going on 4 to 5 years old. We've been in this house this January. We closed on it 5 years. But the only thing that was here the first year were the emerald green arborvitaes. So everything else would be 4 years, and then the trees are going on 5. And then you could see the hardy geraniums right there, and a little bit more of the raspberry super petunias. I do have some of the lemon coral sedum underneath here. They don't get a lot of sun because they're underneath the bushes, so if they did get a lot of sun, they'd be a lot fuller, but they're thriving here too. And then I have some salvia in the garden right here underneath the magnolia tree. But look how pretty those blooms are. Some of the brand new blooms that are limey green, and then some that have turned to a pink, and then some of the older blooms as well. Isn't that a pretty picture right there? And then those 2 Nellie Stevens that look like a topiary are Nellie Stevens. They would normally look like a Christmas tree, but we pruned them at the bottom and then made them rounded at the top. So making my way to the very edge of this hydrangea garden right here. I have some more of the jazzberry super petunias. This is one plant. Look how gorgeous that one is. And then I did have some daisy mays perennials in here that I've had to cut back. This pentacetum right here is not very happy. This is one that I need to replant. So I have a whole list of things that I intend to replant, and this is one of them. And then at the very top, I have a peony that I need to move. This sedum was really gorgeous in my last video, my August video. So it's gone out of bloom, but still looks really pretty out of bloom. And then I have a butterfly bush there, and then a standard hydrangea tree form here. This is the very end of the hydrangea garden. This is the butterfly bush that I just showed you. This one's doing really, really good. I really do need to come in and deadhead all of these too. So if I deadhead, I will get more blooms. But let's see if I can find a real pretty bloom right here. There we go. Love that bloom. And I don't know the name of this one. I wished I did because I just bought this at Home Depot, so didn't expect for this one to be so pretty. But I love the tree form that it has here in the middle. And you see, it's like kind of curvy, and I do love the middle part of this tree form right here. And the sun is so pretty, just beaming right above this bush right here. And this is what the sedum looks like a little closer up here. Oh, just a few little blooms there still. I'll take it. Real dainty and pretty. I have them on a couple of rocks right here as well. This is what the garden looks like on the other side. So this is what my neighbor gets to see. These emerald green arborvitaes, and then I have like a little rock border. All these rocks we saved from the very beginning of the neighborhood. When we first moved in, all of these rocks were the rocks that came from where they excavated and designed all of our landscape, or whatever you want to call it, for the houses. And Another thing that I need to do is, do you see I have some of these runners that are growing up? This is what our sod does. We have these runners are called rhizomes, and they'll just run right into the garden right there. So I need to get some of those pulled up. They pull up pretty easy though. It looks like a lot, but it's not. What are you doing? What are you doing? Huh? You coming to see Mama? This is a closer look up of the Nellie Stevens. Like I said, these are about 4 years old right now, and I intend to keep them looking kind of more small and petite looking as a topiary. So I need to mulch. You can tell that I need to do that. So that's on my list to do. And then there is 2, so I like symmetry in my garden, so I have 2 on this side and 2 on the other side. And then it's separated in the middle with my rose garden. So this is my above ground container. I have 2, one on this side and one on the other. And these are the zinnias that came up from last year. I did not plant any seed this year, just what seed came up from last year. And this is a hot mess right now, but it's a hot mess and it's gorgeous all at the same time. So I do have 2 tomato plants that I have in here, and then you can see that it just overgrown my obelisk right there. I have 2 tomato cages in here and my obelisk, and it just completely pushed it over. You can see the tomatoes right here that I still have a lot of tomatoes. It has produced so many tomatoes for me this year, and I still have lots to come. But I want to share with you the real pretty zinnias. I like the zinnias because they give me great color, and the hummingbirds, bees love them, and they're great cut flowers too. So I have so many seeds that I've collected inside that I've been able to share with everybody, my neighbors. Of course, I didn't even have a chance to plant in here because they've already came up for me. If you hear the airplanes behind me, I'm so sorry. They're just every 15 minutes, so I would never get anything videoed if I stopped for every single airplane. So I do have some that I need to deadhead, of course, but they're probably, once they dry, you can get seeds from these. They say once you buy one zinnia seed, you may not have to ever buy another zinnia seed ever again. I do have some, and I think this one is Celosia in here that came back from seed. And I did have some amaranth too in here last year. And then I have 2 of the cherry yoshio trees. There's one of them. Kind of have to move backwards here because I'm trying to keep my shadow out of the video. This is what the Oakland holly looks like. This is a great specimen to plant in your garden. I love the texture and color of this, and it stays in a really good shape, and it's not very disease resistant either. I have 3 of these that are surrounding my fire pit area that are right in the middle of the rose garden. And they do have berries too, and they flower in the springtime. And the bees love them. And this one is my Savannah garden. I have that link on in my details as well. You can actually purchase this one too. It comes with this real pretty arch that helps. You can like put some kind of vine up there. It helps keep some of these taller things stay like more confined. There's a bee right here. Can you see it? I have bees actually all over these plants right now. These are cosmos. I have several different seeds of cosmos that I planted in here. And then celosia right there. And these are the lime zinnias, but I don't know, I've been a little bit disappointed in them. They've not been really big, but a little bit on the smaller side. That bee right there. That's just a gorgeous picture right there too. I can show you bees all day, every day. This is what the above ground Savannah container looks like. It was really easy put together. I've got videos on that if you want to look back at how to put that raised garden bed, how I filled it. Everything's on my videos as well. And that's the Savannah raised garden bed. I think this was like oregano seed and it's kind of already dried. I had lots of different seeds in here. Some came up and some didn't. This is the queen lime. And like I said, I feel like my seeds that came back from the second year are bigger than the original first year. I don't know if that sounds weird, but this white celosia or cosmos is very beautiful. I have the white. What other color do I have in here? Let's see. The white is outshining all the colors right now. And I have some lavender right there. Did have some hot pink. I don't see any hot pink right now. This right here is pretty too. And this one's just a hot mess of prettiness also. And that's my other Yoshio tree right there. This is the back of the house. I have to share with you this celosia too. It's a little bit different. I think this is like a fruit punch celosia right there. And here's some of the hot pink cosmos right there. Like the sun is going against me right now. So much beauty right here. Look at this gorgeousness. Cosmos, celosia. I have some basil growing right there too. I'm just blowing in the wind. Beautiful. And this is the corner of my rose garden. This little quadrant is called Eustacia Ave, and you can see the sprinter boxwoods right there, all nice and pruned up. Beautiful. And this is Eustacia Ave from David Austin Roses. It's an old English rose, and look how gorgeous these blooms are on her. I love this time of year because we have really cool nights, and I feel like they just thrive and love those cool nights. Look how pretty they are. There's just a few more blooms from Eustacia Ave right there. The next quadrant is Gabrielle Oak. These are the 2 hanging baskets that I did at the very beginning of this year. This is one of my first videos, and they are still looking great. So we planted them up in late April all the way now till mid-October. But look, these are the Great Punch Super Bells and the Amethyst Verbena, and then another petunia from Proven Winners. These are all Proven Winner plants. So this little corner is Gabrielle Oak, and these are what I need to deadhead. So I wanted to show you like what I do need to deadhead. This is just a big cluster, so I can actually take that whole cluster all the way back to way down in here somewhere if I wanted to, just to let you know. I do have one little bud right there that's still gonna bloom out, so I might wanna leave it for this one. But like this whole section right here could come off. This one right here could come off. I have been battling a lot with black spot, a little bit more this year, but you know, like I feel like I was not as good about spraying neem oil or the Rose RX the beginning of the year, so that's something that I'm definitely going to be proactive with next year. I'm not sure if it was just because we had a lot of rain in the beginning of the season or what it actually was. So you can see right here, this is all, I just need to deadhead all of these right here. Gabrielle Oak has the deepest pink blooms, you can see right there, and they smell divine. They are gorgeous. Of course, at the beginning of the season, they were just really pretty and gave me my biggest flush of blooms, but they are rebloomers and they've given me color all season long. Gabrielle Oak. And I do have 5 of these planted in here. They're planted about 12 inches apart, 12 to 18 inches apart. And then of course they're separated with the sprinter boxwoods all the way around. They look so pretty. I do spray these with spider mite preventive also. I use Captain Jack Dead Bug for that. They're supposed to be less blight resistant. You can see where my husband pruned those. Less blight resistant. They do good in sun or shade. They're a Proven Winners plant. And they don't smell like pea. Those are the English boxwoods. These are Japanese boxwoods, just to let you know. I still have not pruned my lavender back. This is phenomenal lavender, so I need to do that. That's a thing to do on my list as well. Need to clean out my bird bass. Need to do that. And I just had a video when I planted up this Galloway urn from Unique Stone. So I have some white trailing, those wave pansies right here, or violas. I think they're violas. Pretty sure they're violas. But they're white and they have like a yellow center with a little bit of purple edging right there. And these are the violas. They have a dark purple with the orange center. I cannot remember what these are called. They like it more in this cooler weather. I have a cabbage back here. You can watch my video. I have the name on the other video, so make sure you watch that video. And then I have violas and pansies in here, and the pansies are orange. And then I have a grass that's called bunny something or another. I do not remember the names. And then I have a kale and cabbage. And I have a heuchera in here as well. Like I said, if you want to replant this, make sure you watch that video because I have all the tags up there for you. And I have a real pretty little scarecrow. I thought she was cute. So I'm just painting around. That's the back of the house. This is what the stairs look like going down into the fire pit area. This is the middle part of my garden. Boscabelle looks gorgeous. She has lots of different colors on her. She can be coral, hot pink, a light pink. I love the variety of colors on this one. And I'm trying to show up close and trying to keep my shadow out. What these different roses look like. This one's a really pretty rose. I feel like this one looks more coral. This is what the buds look like when they first come out. And then as they age, a little bit more lighter pink. And I don't know if you noticed the crepe myrtles, but they're all out of bloom. They were beautiful this summer. I love the shape of them this year. The next rose is called Alexandra of Kent. This one has the most biggest bloom of them all, especially in the fall. And this is what Alexandra of Kent looks like. When I designed this area, I wanted all hot pinks or light pinks. So that's why I have very similar colors, but a different rose in this garden as well. And of course, I need a deadhead, so you can see all the ones that I need a deadhead on here too. This is the very edge of my cottage garden. This little grouping is what I just planted in a Come Garden With Me tour. And you can see they're starting to go out of bloom right there. These right here were the ones that looked like a flower, like a star-like. They were like an Irish Rebecca. So I need to cut those all the way back. The yarrow is not looking really happy, but hopefully since I've got it in the ground and the roots will like come back and be really pretty next year. And then this is the other Rebecca that I planted. The lantana is looking gorgeous. You can see I got some dahlias over there that look really pretty, and we're gonna look at those blooms closer up because they are so pretty not to be shown close up, but I need to get in here and just tidy up a little bit in this area. Cat's pajamas is looking really pretty. I got a rose right in the middle of it. Oh, maybe it fell off. Yeah, it just fell off. It looks pretty there though. And that's a proven winner's plant, cat's pajamas, and it keeps producing flowers. Once they have their initial flush, you cut those back and they'll produce more. So I have a yellow dahlia here that looks beautiful. Let's see. So I need to come and, while it's still fresh and beautiful, go ahead and cut these after I show them to you and then put them in my house as making a little arrangement out of them. So we'll do that, and then I'll show you at the very end what kind of arrangement we come up with, since I still have some gorgeous flowers. And then this one's tucked up in this tree right here. There's another dahlia. Let's see if I can get this is a rose of Sharon, but another really pretty dahlia tucked up in there. There we go, I pulled it out. I don't remember what these are called. I need to be really better about that. And these remind me like of a star-like shape. And these are the dinner plate dahlias. I have several of those that are looking gorgeous right now, at least three or four of them. And this is the clematis. This is called Happy Jack. It's out of bloom. I did get 2 flushes of this because I pruned it back and it flushed back out again. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is a weed. I don't think that belongs in there. Yep, I just tore it off too. Oh well. And then I have some of the daylilies right here planted at its feet. They say clematis likes their feet cool and their heads hot. It's a tip for you. A few more dahlias on the other side of the garden. This is where my neighbors can see. Oh, there's a bee, another bee. I think I caught that one sleeping. Another dahlia. I don't think I think this is the first that I've seen this one bloom, honestly. Unless it looks just different from the cooler weather. Some of my Rose of Sharons aren't looking all that great this year. This one struggled. This one right here was a volunteer, and I think it's a Rose of Sharon. It grew like crazy. Like, it didn't take no time for it to look like this, which I'm very impressed. So I'm excited to see what it's gonna look like. And the reason I think it's a Rose of Sharon, it's already got like a little bloom on it here. So I'm excited to see what it might be. I'm not gonna pull it up just yet. These shade containers are still looking really pretty. I planted those earlier in the season. So if you want something that still looks great, these are really good for you. These are the Impatiens and Super Bells, and these are the 3 plants that are in here. The Maha Fuchsia, Portulaca, Super Bells, Black Currant Punch, and the Rockapolo White Impatien. And they're still looking really, really pretty throughout the whole entire season. This is the container that I planted up with Dawn and found that snake skin, so make sure you look for that one. Looks like they're all facing the other way. I had to come to the other side. I think they're facing the sun. They're like, we want to face the sun, Mama. Love this container. It's simple with this carex here. I said it looks like a hair wig kind of. And with these pansies. I had some left over from my unique stone, so I planted this container up as well. This container's still looking really pretty. I have the lemon coral sedum and some of that blue, I forget the name, lobelia, I think. And then I had one of the inside house ferns and then some penta in this container. And this is what the cottage garden is looking like. I planted 3 of the concrete containers up the exact same way, and I have a video on that. So make sure you watch this video where we planted these up. I do have some violas or some pansies that are trailing, the yellow ones. I have some orange and some white. Someone said that it looked like candy corn. I never thought of that, but I thought that was cute. And then I have some Ms. America kale, flowering cabbage, and then of course this gorgeous ivy back here too. This is the cottage garden. I have some walkerlow that can be pruned back right now, right here, to make it look a little tidier. I have some bubblegum petunias that I cut back, and they flushed out in flowers again. And they will come back for me next year. And then I have some Beyond Pink Coreopsis that's gone out of bloom. But I still like the structure of it as well. And then I have some candy corn spirea, some Gaura. I have a couple of ornamental grasses back there. Mandevilla growing up the obelisk. Little gem magnolia. Still has some coneflowers that are still beautiful and hanging on. This yellow one looks really pretty at the beginning of the border here. And then I have a video on this Gaura. This Gaura looks the prettiest out of them all. These are my dancing butterflies. So I did like where I plant sets of 3s, 5s, and 7s. So make sure you watch that video if you haven't seen that one. I have some candy corn spirea in here. I have a little bit of sedum that didn't do awesome this year for whatever reason. I don't know if it was too wet in this location, but it's not happy. So this is another something that I'm gonna probably want to move because it just didn't do good here. I have some yellow lantana in the garden that I planted this year. And then going up this obelisk, I have a real pretty mandevilla. My magnolia tree again. I have 3 of these in the garden. This is the second container that I planted up that's all the same. And the third one's down there. This butter pecan coneflower from Perennial Winners is really pretty. So you can see old blooms and new blooms. I need to come in and deadhead those. And then I have some more hardy geraniums there. This lantana is gorgeous. This is a little bit of the Walker's Low Nepeta. And this area right here is where I had a video where I planted these hostas and a still bee. This is where I said I'm getting more shade, and then I could start planting some more sun-loving shade plants here. This container gets a good amount of shade, but it still loves this area. It's doing pretty good. So this Gaura right here is probably not getting enough sun, so I need to move that to a different location. And I could probably plant a different type of hosta or another still be there. That would be pretty to have too. And then you can see this bubblegum petunia is all spent, but I have a few pretty blooms on there. I need to cut that back where it has time to rebloom. And I'll leave that in the ground too, so maybe it'll come back next year. And this butterfly bush back there is not doing great, so that one's gonna come out and something else will go there. Probably another shade loving. And then what I intend to do is limb these cryptomeria trees up so I can start planting underneath them. And you can see they're starting to lose a couple of needles inside too. That's normal if you see that on these Yoshio cryptomeria trees. You see that right there. And then this is the third pot container. This was the Aquapot that I planted up in a video. You can see some of the purple, yellow pansies. I love these pansies. And the gorgeous Miss America. And then I have ornamental grass behind it there. Some ornamental peppers. And I think this was a thyme right there. Yeah, I did have oregano that didn't make it, and this one's called thyme. But the oregano that I planted here looks gorgeous up front, so I'm really excited to show you that oregano. But this is Foxley thyme, and it's variegated. And this one is my Skylar elevated planter box. I have that link in the description as well. It's got some orange portulaca that would look gorgeous in the springtime, summertime, and fall. And they are still closed for whatever reason. Lemon coral sedum. And then I had some proven winter sedum in here as well. I think they were called lemon jade, which they have not really bloomed out yet. I'm kind of surprised. So I can repurpose those and put them in the garden somewhere else too. They were Rock and Grow Lemon Jade. And then I have a couple spikes that look a little fallish. And like I said, this you can buy online, and that's the Skylar, the Luna Bana. It looks like wood, but it's not wood. It's a great quality. It's a good little elevated planter box. So this is what the full backyard looks like. A full hedge of limelights. Rose garden. And the cottage garden. Beautiful grass. I love beautiful grass. I have all my grass links in the description too. And this is the side garden, and can you believe I have another little pile to plant? So I'm gonna put this, I think, in a container. This right here is called, it's jasmine, snow and summer. I think this is a pretty popular plant. How many of you guys have this? But it's beautiful with all the different variegations on there. I love it. And then I have 3 clematis that I need to plant with you guys. And then you can see all the begonias that I have on this side garden here. I need to do something with this redbud tree. I've had it in the container for 2 years, so I need to either get it out of the container and see what it's looking like. These are the Blew My Mind XL Evolvulus. I love this. I think I'll repeat this next year. I think it's gorgeous. And then all of the double up begonias on this side right here. I got 2 different types of begonias in this area. I have a couple camellias and then a whole row of boxwoods. You can see the boxwoods right here. I'm still trying to grow these in a hedge, so as long as I keep them trimmed up on top and not the sides, then they'll fill in. I have lots and lots of buds on this camellia, so I'm excited about that. This one's going to get a little bit taller than the other 2, and this one is called a apple blossom. You guys, I'm kind of torn. Like, I always said this was my shade garden because early in the summer at 1 o'clock, it's sunny but then shade. And then as the season goes on, it's not shaded until 3. And all these plants right here hated it. They did not like it. So I thought about moving everything, but now they look pretty. So I'm not sure what I want to do. I think I'm still going to move them because I think they're always still going to struggle because they're not always in the shade. And that's that you want to miss that I bought, and it's going to flower. Look at that. What is it going to do? I don't remember, but I'm excited to share that with you. So this was the Brunera. And then I have some Lenten rose in there, hellebores. I have some Jacob's ladder in here, some heuchera. I love that this is variegated. That hosta's not happy. This heuchera is very happy in this location, so I could do a whole hedge of that if I liked. And that Bruna over there looks really sad, but it's starting to come back. I have 3 of those, and I think I did have 3 of the Jacob's ladder, but I only see 1 right now. I had to cut this Jacob's ladder all the way back. My ultrasound duties are coming out of me. When I said bladder, I felt loud. I have one coleus that came back from last year. It's still wanting to live. I had this color coleus in here last year. If I'll find that video, I'll show you. Or a picture. Look how pretty these flowers are on this red begonia. Oh gosh, gorgeous. And this is the other type of begonia that I have. I think this one's the double up begonia. And these are proven winter plants. And this blew my mind they close too. The flowers close at nighttime, but it's a type of morning glory. So most of them are closed, but they're starting to pop back up. This is that oregano that I told you that I absolutely love. This one's called Kent Beauty. Isn't that beautiful? I love it. So I'm excited. I hope I can replant this in the garden and it lives for me next year. If not, I'm gonna have to buy more. I did not have any idea that that would be so pretty. And then I have a heuchera in this container. This one is the very front of my garage. This is another Aquapot that's a self-watering pot. So if you have an area that doesn't have drip or that you have a hard time watering and you can only water it once a week, this is a great option for you. And then I have some gorgeous pansies in there and some orange celosia and different type of greenery in there that's more green and silvershy. I think that was called wedgewood, I believe. I have it in the video, so look back if this is something that you like. Oh my gosh, I gotta have that. Look back at that video. And then I had some fatsia in here that I can replant later, and I can plant this later in the year or two. This will get like 2 to 3 feet, and this one will get taller than 3 or 4 feet. It takes the shade, but I'm excited to replant that. I can probably keep it up here all winter though. And then I have a flowering either kale or cabbage. I'm confused. What I thought was cabbage was kale. And then I have some of the euphorbia here too as well. I think I had that from a different container and had leftover. The ornamental peppers did not do good up here. I think they just weren't getting enough sun, because now that the winter is coming, fall is coming, the sun changes a little bit into the garden. Look how gorgeous that is. So I have a whole video on that where we actually plant shopped. Me and Dawn went and shopped at Pike's for all these plants, and I showed in that video how I put plants together. So if you struggle on how to put plants together, make sure you watch that video. It was a really cute video. I love to take my time and just show the beauty of flowers. This little skinny garden is where I pull up to my driveway going into the very front porch, and I have nothing but violas here. These gorgeous, vibrant violas. So they're gonna be really pretty fall all the way into winter and through spring for me. And usually it's usually time late April, early May for me to start putting in my annuals. Actually, late April, we're starting to get into 65 and 70 degree weather. And I can actually put some tulips back here too, so I think I might. And I got my tulips in, so I'm going to share with you those tulips that I picked out for this year, and we're going to put them in the refrigerator for a cool period. We have to have a cool period here of 10 weeks before we plant them. So I'll plant them in the ground in December. Now I thought this was cabbage. How many of you thought this was cabbage? It's not. It's flowering kale, and they are going to flower white. I think they're going to be gorgeous. This is my 3-tiered container from Kinsman, and I have a video out on that, so make sure you watch that. And I planted it up with some pansies, some dicandra fall, and some snapdragons, and that gorgeous Ms. America right in the center. So this will last me fall and all the way into spring. You can see my drip there. One of the things I need to do is buy some more mulch and mulch this area up. So this is on my front porch. So I have some super bells and a crazy curly grass right there. In this container, I'm not really sure how long these super bells are going to last me, probably till a frost. We normally get a frost late November. Weather's been crazy, so who knows. And then I had some leftover. I had a Ms. America leftover from my video, and then I planted these violas around that. I do love that yellow and white. It contrasts so pretty up against that Ms. America. Don't you love that? And then on the front porch, I had a little short where I changed out my pillows and wreaths for the fall. So I bought these at Target. These wreaths right here, and they're just on a little hook up there, a little suction hook. And I cleaned the glass. It was just a great time to clean when you're changing out wreaths. Cleaned the rocking chairs and then put some pillows out. I thought this pillow was cute because it pertained to gardening. Let me get this rose cane out of here. Roses are red, shadows are black. Ghost in the garden, watch your back. And this is my Shishi camellia that's been in this pot for 3 years. So another tip for you guys, whenever you're keeping something in a container for so long, make sure you take out about 3 to 6 inches of the soil around it and replace it with good soil. So I've been fertilizing mine with some kind of espoma product, but I do need to go and do that either this fall or early spring, is freshen up that soil, because it's been in here for a good 3 years. Even though I do fertilize it with espoma. I think I did either holly tone for camellias. I think that's what I did. You can do plant tone if you don't have holly tone. Seems like Home Depot and Lowe's has the holly tone all the time. Rose tone, it's harder to find, but it's all on Amazon. You can just have it delivered right to your house. I had those links in my description too. And this is the front garden, looking from my porch. More sprinter boxwoods right here. I have a couple of the spiral boxwoods that look really nice. I try to keep them in good shape. And then my Japanese maple. I have a mum there. So a good tip to water these mums is I bought a saucer. Can you see that saucer down there? Just fill that saucer up with water and fill it up from the bottom. Or you could put it in a 5-gallon bucket and leave it in there for 30 minutes and just let it absorb. And then when it's time to water, you just pick up your pot, and if it's light, then it's time to water again. Like, I hate to say, you know, for me it might be a week, but I hate to say for you, it might be different. So, but I would think at least every week it needs to be watered really well. And then you can see this pot right here was from my container from still this past summer. So I had the Dicandra snow, I believe, and then I have the Queen Tut grass, and I have a super bell on the other side. This is the super bell right here. It's from Proven Winners. When they get real leggy, you can just prune them back. So there is the Graceful Grass Queen Tut. It was new this past year. They had King Tut, which is really big, Prince Tut, Queen Tut, and then that's the super bells that's in there, Honeyberry, and then you can see the Diamond Frost, Euphorbia. I like to keep my tags because I forget. Who forgets the name of your plants? I mean, doing videos have helped me, but I still forget. I have a climbing rose going up this one. This is called Lady of the Lake. Growing up that post. I would like to train her better, but she's hard to train. But still gorgeous. And you can see the limelight hydrangea there on the side. And then that's the west side garden that I planted up this past year. Brand new. So I'm just trying to step back to show you what the front of the house looks like. And then I plant this front up all the time differently. So I already pulled up my summer annuals, and then I still put some fall looking. I got pansies in my head. Help me out, guys. Told you I need help. These are petunias. These are not a Proven Winners, and these have to be deadheaded, which I love Proven Winners. You may feel like you pay a little bit more for that price, but you do not have to deadhead them. So these had to be deadheaded for them to rebloom. And then I have some vincas. I have some white super bells in these containers as well. I have a little pumpkin in there, and that curly grass. So I have some vinca that have a little bit of the yellow center that are white, and some that have a little bit of that dark red center. And I think it plays off these petunias really well. So that's what the mum looks like. So that's a good tip to keep your mums alive. And then I have a concrete curbing up here in the front. And my hardy hibiscus is about ready to be done. She still gives me 1 or 2 gorgeous blooms every now and then. Now these hardy hibiscus, for my zone, I feel like it's okay for me, and I have in the past. I will go ahead and prune them down like really, really soon. Once they start flying for me, I don't want to see this big structure up here in my very front part of the house. I want this holly behind it to show and my rose to show a little bit more. So for me, I'm going to prune it back. Now, for the people that are in the very cold zones, Proven Winter says that it's probably best to wait and cut it down in the springtime. So it's up to you. Like, it does have a hollow center, so I think they're saying that disease can get into it, but we don't really have that much of a cold winter, and we did have that real cold freeze last year, and it still did great. So for me, I don't feel like it's an issue, and I do not like to look at it. So let me come a little closer. I do see a bloom. I'm going to show you the Lady of the Lake. Look how pretty she is. I'm going to have some more buds there too, and as it ages out white. Look, oh my gosh. The bees love this plant too. And so do the Japanese beetles, you all. So that's why I gotta combat my Japanese beetles with the milky spores and the Anderson's dicom? No. I'll put the link up that I use. So pretty. I have a lot of new growth on these roses, so maybe lots of new blooms before the season's over with. Oh, I do see some, which I did not notice last year. Some of them went to, what do they call it? Pod? Let's see if I can get closer up. Do you see that? I've never had a rose do that before, where they go to those pods. So that kind of gives you some winter interest too. I have several of them. I didn't know this rose would do that. Cool. That is such a nice surprise. How awesome. And this is my new west side garden. So I have a couple of geraniums there that did not like a prior space, and I replanted them there, and they're doing really pretty here. These also have to be deadheaded. I mean, not now, but just to let you know, when they're spent, they like to be deadheaded, and they'll produce more blooms. I did have some pretty petunias around here, but they're all spent. And then my coneflowers are looking really, really nice. This is the butter pecan one right there. This plant produces so many blooms. Like, it is worth the money if you can find them. They're new in the garden center this year. It's the first year that you're able to purchase them in the garden center. And this is the raspberry beret. So there was a couple, I think three or four new varieties. But this one produces lots of blooms also. So these are the ones that are a little bit more spent. So I need to come back and cut some of these off. Some people leave them for the birds. Yellow lantana. This can be a perennial, or it could be, it's really an annual, but it could be a perennial for us. Butterflies and bees love this one. It's more vibrant this time of the year than it is any other time of the year. So it's prettier this time of the year than it has been in the past. And then this sun hosta, I cannot rave how gorgeous this sun hosta is. I love it. I want more of these. And then I have the serendipity plants back there. My Ansonia is supposed to have a gorgeous fall color, but it is not looking great. I don't know why. I don't know if it needs more sun. I'm not sure what it needs. That one right there looked like it died. And then my Sweet Spire Henry, I think it was called Sweet Spire or something. That one's looking really pretty. I'll have to find my plant tag for that one and put it up on the screen for you. I only have one of those, and it's supposed to turn a real pretty fall color too. It's starting to already. Let me show you. Right there. So it should have a lot of fall interest. And then my crazy looking Mill and the Floss Rose is crazy. I have a few pretty blooms on it. Let's see. Up there, it's a smaller bloom than some of my other David Austin roses. And it's a Rambler Rose. Starts out hot pink and then it goes to a light pink. I don't know if you can see that bloom right there. I had to really use my zoom. And then you could see some of the other side of the limelight standard. I cut a lot of these off so I could use in my Christmas tree. So all these blooms are starting to look spent, except for these down here. And I think the deer cut that little section off, and that's why it looks pretty, because it bloomed out new. But look how big those blooms are. If you followed me, you'll know how big they are. They're as big as my head. And this was what the side garden's looking like. I pruned these salvias back. This is plain the blue salvia. And there's bees all over it. Right there. Bees love this plant, and it is such a vibrant color. These would be really pretty planted around your roses, but they're pretty vigorous, so I don't know what I think about it. You can see that rose over there with this color. It's really pretty. These are the white shishis that I just planted and showed you in a video. Probably need to come back over here and give them a good watering. But lots of buds, so they should give me a really pretty show this year. I have the honeysuckle growing up that little trellis right there. I have a columbine back there and some different types of hydrangeas. I think they're called Tough Stuff Hydrangea. They like a little bit more shade, and that's why they're over here on this side garden. Potato vine still going crazy. Coleus still looking good. I have 5 of the Punkster Blue Buddleia over here. And I try to keep them pruned back as well. They look more like a deep purple to me though, even though they're called blue. You'll find that in the garden a lot. And then these are the lilac hardy hydrangeas, lilac hardy hibiscus. I have 3 of those here. I have a few more little buds on there, so I'll probably hold on to this one until they're done flowering for me. See the bud right there. Now the salvia will come out, the coleus will come out, the lantana will come out, and then I've got a gorgeous display of spring bulbs that I'm going to plant in here. Tulips are going to go in here. About 600 tulips are going to go on this side, and I got all kinds of different Easter flowers that are going to go in here too. Could that be what he's doing? These are a different variety of coneflowers from Proven Winners that were new this year. I believe that was called some kind of cantaloupe color. More buddleia. And this is some blooms on the Tough Stuff hydrangea. Like this one's been blooming more than the other one. It's an older bloom. Got a new bloom coming out right there. So on this same plant, I have purple, pink, and blue. All on the same plant. Then I have another limelight standard hydrangea tree here. Another coleus that will come out. This lantana will come out. I could replant it probably in my cottage garden if I wanted. The ones in the cottage garden I'm going to leave. Look at these mushrooms down here. You can find them right there. And then in my next coming video, we're going to take this upside down key lime. It is a potato vine. We're going to get that out, and I have a gorgeous obelisk behind that, and we're going to plant 2 different types of clematis going up that one. I have no idea what that was that I planted. And then I have 2 David Austin roses over here that are called Munstead Wood. They've retired, but they're sending me 2 more in the spring as a bare root to plant. And they're the deepest red that they have. Or I believe it's the deepest red. I do need to find a plant support for these until they get a little sturdier. And then, oh, look at this hydrangea bloom. Let me go up here and show you. So this is a newer one, obviously, but it's big. You can see my hand. It is a big bloom. Look how pretty it is, though. And there's the spent blooms. Pretty, pretty. That one right there is the other, what did I say the other ones were that weren't looking so good on the other side? That one's looking great. And it, so you know, maybe it wants more shade. I have no idea. And then I have some Russian sage growing over here. I have a winter Daphne that's going to be really pretty when it blooms. It blooms in the winter time. So that would be my first winter to see this one bloom. And that's a pretty plant. That one's more of a rare plant. And I went to a nursery and I was asking her, if you bought one plant, what would you buy? And she told me she would buy this Daphne. So I couldn't resist. I think I paid $140 for that. Eek. So I hope it's gorgeous, and I hope it's going to be like that gorgeous specimen that I'm going to love. And then this is another hardy hibiscus. This one's looking really spent. And actually, I've not been very happy with this one. And I think I'm going to pull it out. There's so many different varieties that are prettier than this one that I want to try. So I think I'm going to pull that one out. And then I need to deadhead some of these coneflowers right here. And then I have some tea olives right here to help me screen right there on my porch, give me some screening as a hedge. I have 4 of those, for. And that's what the other side's looking like. I thought I planted enough color on this side, but I didn't. So I don't know. I need to find more ways to have different color on this side next year. I hope you enjoyed this October garden tour, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.